All right. Now, the process we're about to undergo is just to graph, using our graphing calculator, write a program that gives us the roots in vertex form. Remember, the last time we wrote a program, you could only use it in standard form. Remember when you did the quadratic formula program? It was for ax squared plus bx plus c. Ax squared plus bx plus c. So we knew a, b, and c. Well, what happens if it's in vertex form, where we have a, h, and k? We can't use that program. But what we're going to do now is write a program that works for that. So, what I want to show you quickly is what Mr. Carter went through with x equals h plus or minus the square root of negative k over a. Like, where does this come from right here? Okay? So let's show that. If we have y equals a x minus h squared plus k, that's our standard vertex form. Okay, that's what vertex form looks like before you plug anything in. If I want to find the roots, I need to set y equal to 0. So I start by putting a 0 in over here. Now, for this process, I need to move the k over. How do I move k over? Subtract k. So I end up with negative k equals a x minus h squared. How do I get rid of the a? Divide by a. When I divide by a, I end up with negative k over a equals x minus h quantity squared. How do I get rid of the square?
Use square root.
Root both sides. Good. Now, when I take the root of this side, I have, how many answers do I always have? 2, plus or minus. And then finally, the last step is I got to move h over. How do I move h over? And I'm going to add it in the front like I've always been doing for this. So I get h plus or minus the square root of negative k over a. And if you take a look at this last line right here, it's the same as what Mr. Carter put on the worksheet.
Oh yeah.
Look what he put on the worksheet. You're going to see that right here. This is the exact same thing. Okay? This quantity here is the exact same thing that we just solved for. So, what we're going to do now, we're going to write a program in the calculator that, using this formula, is able to calculate the roots in vertex form also. So by the time you take the test, your roots should be very easy. The roots, when it's in intercept form, are just x1 and x2. Remember, whatever those values are, it's just the opposite. So those are the roots for that one. The roots for here, we have a program that runs it. And now I have a program that runs this one as well. So when it comes to doing the roots, you should be able to do a lot of it on your calculator. It is good to know to do it by hand, though, also. You have to know how to do it in general. So let's go into our calculator now. Again, here's what we're going to program, this last line right here. This is the important part right here. Okay? That's what we're going to look at. So, we go into our calculator. How do I open programs? Hit program. Very good. I know it's not a tough question. Hit program right there. Now, I want to make a new program. And most of you guys have the quadratic formula already. I have this one from last year. I'm leaving it in there. I go over to new. I hit enter on create new. Now, everybody call this one the same thing. Call this one vert root, or vertex form roots, so you remember what you're doing. So that's what we call the quadratic formula. Okay? So, V, E, R, T for vert, and then just put root. You can only put 8 letters, no spaces. So just type it all in 8 letters. That's the best way we can name this. Okay, again, we only have 8 letters to choose, so make them wise. Vert root. And this tells me, in vertex form, I'm finding the roots. Okay, that's what this program is all about. Now, does anybody remember from last time we programmed? Last time. What was the first thing I wanted you guys to enter into the program? Good, it was display. Why was it display, Mariana? What did that do for us?
I don't remember.
Okay, that's all right.
I don't have my calculator.
What does it do?
Give me some message.
Good, it gave us a message in the beginning. Do you remember what the message said, Kelly?
It gave us a standard form, right?
That's exactly right. Good memory. Again, we displayed something that gave us a message that gave us the standard form. But now we're not doing standard form. We're doing vertex form. So we want to display a message that says the following. We want the message to read this line right here, because that's what we're solving. Last time we had 0 equals ax squared plus bx plus c, standard. Now we're in vertex. So I want to write a message that says this. Does anybody remember the steps to write a message? I heard the first command already.
Display.
Display. We're no need parentheses just yet. How do I bring up display though? How do I bring up display?
Isn't it,
Good, Kelly. What is it?
Oh, catalog.
Catalog. Anytime you want to bring up a command, press second and then 0 to bring up your catalog. See the word catalog here. Now, I want display, so press D, and it'll jump to D again. So press your D button, and it goes down to there. Again, D is x to the negative 1. Second, catalog. And then hit the x to the negative 1 to jump to D. Now, scroll down until you get to DISP. There it is. Not display graph, but just display. Once you get it highlighted on display, hit enter. It'll bring it up on the home screen or on your program screen. Now, I want to display what's in the black box there. That's what I want to display. How do I choose to display something? Because I can't just type in letters. I have to put something around it. Not parentheses. Something else. Quotes. Quotes. Again, quotes in computer language mean I'm going to give you some sort of a message or text. It means I'm not going to use this in the program, but I'm going to display this value. So, how do I do quotes? Alpha and then what?
And then plus.
And then the plus sign. That brings up my quotes. Again, alpha, then the plus sign. That'll bring up my quotes. Next, I want to type 0 equals. How do I do equals? What is under? Good. Second math. Second, and then math. It's under test. You see the word test here. And then the equal sign is the first thing there, because this is our logic test part of the calculator. Hit enter. It'll bring up an equal sign. Now, I just want to display a parentheses x minus h close parentheses squared plus k. I could do alpha lock, but then it's going to make everything letters. But I need parentheses and plus signs and minus signs and squared signs. So I'm not going to use alpha lock today at all. I'm going to press alpha whenever I need to. So alpha a parentheses alpha x minus alpha h close parentheses squared plus alpha k, and then end your quotes. Again, you're simply going one step at a time with all the alpha commands. When you're ready, just look up so I know that means you're done typing that in. Make sure you do this. This will help you. It'll help you a lot. Now, at this point in time, we want to enter into our actual code. So, remember from my code. Remember how when you run the other program, the calculator says, what's A, what's B, what's C? It asks you the question. How do we do that?
Oh, no, wait, you press display.
It wasn't displayed this time. It was something else.
Wasn't catalog?
That was storing. That was something
Wasn't
else.
it program?
It's in the catalog somewhere. Not program. We're in programs. Delbar deleted the variable at the end. We're talking about the first line of code here, guys. We're going to ask for A, B, and C. The line of code where it asks the users, what is A, what is B, what is C? Alright, I'll help you with this one. The term you're looking for here is prompt.
That's
Prompt.
why I said that. You keep that from. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I didn't get it. I think you said Delvar.
I said after that you
I missed that. Okay. So, everybody, second catalog. Now, press the P key. It's number 8. It'll jump to P. Now, keep pressing down until you get to prompt, please. It's a while. You gotta wait.
No, dude, I wrote, I got it.
Okay, it's all the way down for a little while for prompts. Now, I don't care about A, B, and C anymore. I care about A, H, and K. So, I need to say alpha A, comma, alpha H, comma, alpha K. Remembering the comma is next to the parentheses. The comma is right here on the screen. And it's not an apostrophe. I know it looks like an apostrophe also. It's a comma. So once I've prompted the user, now the calculator program says, what's A, what's H, what's K? And then let me do the rest of the work for you. That's what we're going to do now. Okay? So the calculator is asking you for 3 values and saying, I'll calculate it for you. And how we're going to do that, that's what we're about to do just now. So what we need to do is go back now and take a look at what we want to actually have as our answer. Well, here's our answer in blue, the circle in blue. We need the calculator to display the entire left-hand side. I don't care about X, I care about the answer from H, K, and A. So I am really focusing on right now this portion. Well, I can't write a plus or minus in a calculator. So how did we do this last time, guys? Good. We wrote 2 separate lines of code. The first line displayed with a plus, the second line displayed with a minus. So go back to your calculator. We have to use our display function again. Second catalog. Hit the D character, go down to display, under GISP, hit enter. Now, I want to display what I have, thank you, what I have circled in blue there, or the red box. That's what I want to display on the screen. So, for this part, you got to remember, start with H, then do the plus first, then use your square root key on the calculator. So we start with, thanks Andy. We start with H, so alpha H plus, now I need to do a square root. How do I do a square root on here, guys? Good, second x squared. Now, the next point is important to think about because some people in the last class forgot. It's negative k. You need to use the negative sign down here. If you use the minus sign, you'll get an error in your code. Again, it's negative alpha k over alpha a, close parentheses. Again, that was my first root. My second root is the same exact thing, but with a minus sign instead of, see this plus sign right here? Instead of that plus sign, now we need a minus sign in its place because it was plus or minus. So run the exact same line, but just put a minus sign in between instead of a plus sign. Second catalog, I go to the D, I drop down until I get to display, I hit enter. Now I want to display H minus. So I press alpha H, let's try that again, alpha H minus the square root of negative alpha K over alpha A, close parentheses, enter. So those 2 lines right there have given us our answers. Those are the roots, that's what it's going to answer. Now, what was the last thing we had to do? Very last line of code. It was last 4 lines last time, but it was the same thing over 4 times.
Del bar.
I was waiting for you to pop up with that. Del bar, what does del bar mean?
Oh yeah, like it doesn't, if it's a decimal, it deletes, no? It deletes.
Deletes what? Whatever the variable is stored, or the A, B, and C, or the A, H, and K. So since we're storing A, H, and K right now, we want to delete it so that next time we use the program, it will still ask us to enter A, B, H, and K. Because if you don't delete A, H, and K, it's going to keep those values stored in there. And then you can't enter new H, and Ks next time. So we want the program to work every time we use it. So we press second catalog. I go to D, then I go down to del var. Again, it's on the first page for this one. Press D, and then go down a few, 1, 2, 3, 4 down arrow keys. Del var, I want to delete A. I want to do it again. Second, catalog, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Enter. Alpha H. Oh, I clearly didn't type that in right. D, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay, deleting H. And then finally, after I delete A and H, I need to delete K as well. So same routine. Second, catalog, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Enter. Alpha, K. Alpha, K. Enter. Okay, the last 3 lines there will give us the value. Now, before anybody uses the program, we're going to do one by hand, and then we're going to prove it using the program. Okay, so we're going to solve by hand first. So keep this stored. You can press at this point, you can press second quit if you want. Again, you can press second quit to get out of here. I'll give you guys another like 30 seconds to keep writing the program if you're still writing it. But at this point, you can press second quit and quit out of the program. We're going to do it by hand first, and then we'll go back and prove it with the calculator. Quit is second and then mode. second, and then mode. Now, let's do an example by hand like I was saying. So, oh, let's do 4. Okay. Now, what I want you guys to do is this. I want to go through this problem, solving by hand, getting the roots. As soon as we're done, go into your calculator, type in AH and K, and get the actual numbers. Okay, but before you use your calculator, let's do it by hand. So, to find the roots, I always start. We're looking at vertex form, yes sir. Again, we are doing the roots. Now, what's the order that I must complete this operation? What's the first step?
Plus 4 divided by 2.
Plus 4 and then divide by 2. He's memorizing it already. Very good. It's always add the number on the outside and then divide by whatever this is. Now divide by the coefficient A. So divide by 2.
If you wanted to memorize and do that, whatever.
You could. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. Every time works. How do I get rid of the square? Square root.
Shut up.
How do I get rid of a plus 1? Now, here's the tricky part, everybody. Remember, all you got to do is this. Take whatever this number is that you're getting rid of and move it up over here. So on the next line, subtract 1 on both sides, but put the negative 1 in the front. Look at this. Put the negative 1 here because of the plus or minus sign. That's the reason I'm telling you to do that. Again, put the negative 1 in the front. Now, I want to know what these values are. This is not difficult. Square root of 2 is 1.414. So we can say, break this into 2 values. The first one is x equals negative 1 plus 1.414. X equals negative 1 minus 1.414.
That's it.
Okay, I want to know what the actual number is though. So negative 1 minus 1.414 is negative 2.414.
Ow, Andy.
Okay, negative 2.414. Here, the 1's cancel, I'm going to get 0.414. So the 2 answers that are boxed in, if you use your calculator program, will give the exact same values. Again, the exact same values. But we just went through a lot of work to get this. It's worthwhile to use the program when you're actually finding the roots. Okay? Again, it's worthwhile to use the program when you're finding the roots. Let's go through our program. If we go back to our original, identify A, H, and K. Everybody, all together, please. What is A?
2.
A is 2. What is H?
1.
Negative 1.
Negative 1. K?
4.
Negative 4.
Remember, we only switched this one. We only switched the H. The K stays the same. Whatever K is, stays the same. H is the number that you switch. Now, in your calculator, run your program, give it the input. 2, negative 1, negative 4.
Awesome.
Run the program, hit enter, give it 2, negative 1, and negative 4.
Which one did you say was the negative root? The negative.
We had negative 2.414 and positive
It's
0.414.
the other way around in calculation.
Oh no.
2.414 and then it's
I got it for
negative
you.
4.4. What?
That means you made a mistake somewhere. Let me look at your code.
You made a
Whoa! Oh, you little.
No.
Oh, that's why.
Okay.
The program's good.
What'd you say? Put that pen in my face one more time. Put that pen in my face one more time.
Mine is not going when I try to enter.
Literally. I got it. take
Why?
it.
Yo, man.
Questions? We good?